Up our work session for Tuesday, April 8th, 2014. We have Jim Zwick with the Lions Club that's presenting, so I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Zwick for our work session.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Jim Zwick. I'm with the Jackson Township Lions Club. Officially in the district, my title is Extension Chairman for Region 2. Our district is 5 counties, so they split up the regions. The responsibility I have is to try to come into communities that don't have service groups or maybe could use another service group and try to start a Lions Club. So this evening I have with me Bob Bohr. Bob has been our district governor in the past. He has much more service in Lions than I do, and he's graciously put together a nice PowerPoint. And I'd like for him to do that now, and feel free to ask questions as you go along, because you may forget by the time we get to the end. So, Bob, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, thanks, Jim, and thank you all for giving us a little bit of your time. Yeah, we are trying to start a Lions Club here. It's, we're a service organization, much like Kiwanis, Rotary. And the reason we're here tonight is that we want to acquaint you with who we are, what we do, in hopes that you will join us and say, yeah, we want to start a Lions Club here in this community. And you know a lot of people, and that's what it's all about. We need a minimum of 20 people to start a Lions Club. So let's just talk a little bit first about what the Lions are all about. We're men and women, and we are just like you. We come from every walk of life. There are professionals, there are blue-collar people, retired people, young people. As long as you're 18 years or older, you can be a Lion. We are caring people, and we're all about service. We want to make our community a better place to live. We want to help the folks in the community that need help. We want to make a difference. We also enjoy the fellowship that comes with being a Lion. There are some networking opportunities. That's not the reason that you would join the Lions Club, or, in my opinion, any other service organization. But nonetheless, there are some networking opportunities there for when you need them. This is a generalization, but we do good things. At least we try. And we want to make a difference. The principles of Lionism are such... Oh, I'm sorry. Principles of Lionism are such that you can apply them to your own lives. And I have found over the years that Lions has made me a better person. At least I hope, I think. We got our start back in 1917 by a fellow named Melvin Jones. He was an insurance man from Chicago. He felt that the city needed an organization that was about service. In those days, mostly the organizations were professional or social. Discussed it with his colleagues, they agreed, and in June of that year, the very first club was born. He was a young man then. The picture you see here is of him in his later life. By October, just a few months later, there were 22 clubs in 9 states. And a few months later, Lions became international when a club was formed in Windsor, Ontario. A very important event happened in 1925. The Lions were having an international convention right here in Ohio in Cedar Point. The keynote speaker was Helen Keller. She delivered a very powerful message to the Lions, and she charged the Lions, or challenged them, to become Knights of the Blind in the crusade against darkness. And indeed, the Lions picked up that challenge, and from that day forward, our main focus has been about preservation of sight and eradicating preventable blindness. It's not all we're about, but that's one of our main focuses. Today, there's nearly 1.4 million men and women in clubs all over the world, actually 200 plus countries. We are one of the largest, if not the largest, service organization in the world. All Lions clubs have one thing in common. We raise money so that we can give it away and pump it back into our communities, and to try to make a positive difference in our communities. Lions donate over $725 million a year, and they also volunteer more than 71 million hours per year. Some of the things that Lions clubs do are, around the holidays, a popular thing is to make up and deliver food baskets. We also pay for eye care for folks that cannot afford it. For those clubs that are able, we sponsor pilot dogs or seeing eye dogs. They're quite expensive, but it is a very, very worthwhile endeavor. We do a lot of, fix-up, paint-up projects. Every now and then we do get involved in helping build a Habitat for Humanity home. A lot of clubs get involved in highway cleanup. Some clubs have built nature trails and maintain them. Some clubs sponsor parades and festivals. Whenever possible, we like to get involved with the schools. We do that by providing scholarships for graduating seniors, providing eye screenings. This is a very important thing. A lot of Lions clubs in our district participate in eye screenings, and we do this for preschoolers all the way through seniors in high school. We also sponsor programs such as DARE, Quest, the Good program, and these are all about helping students make healthy life decisions. At the bottom there, that bottom bullet says Peace Poster. That's kind of a fun project for schools that are interested. We provide kits so that kids can make a peace poster, and it usually has a humanitarian theme to it. These are judged at the local level, then the state level, national level, and finally at the international level. And at our international convention, held once a year, the winner and runner-ups are put on display. And you cannot believe the quality of art that these kids are capable of. Some clubs sponsor sports teams, scout troops. We like to pay for eye care for kids whose parents cannot afford it. We also sponsor kids' parties such as Christmas parties, Halloween parties, Easter egg hunts. The Youngstown Club sponsors a kids' Christmas party that is a wonderful event. It's for inner city school kids, and they get a free lunch, they get a present, a little time with Santa, and it's very, very worthwhile. To do that requires money, and we raise money just about any way we can, as long as it's legal, as long as it's within our energy limits. But things such as food booths at festivals, Jim, I think, does your club get involved in that?
No, but
No.
we do gambling,
Yeah.
we do blackjack. It works. Yeah, we sell roses, which we're just finishing up, so.
My club participates in Yankee Peddler, which is a colonial era theme festival over around Canal Fulton. And if you're ever over there, we're not allowed to advertise it, we're Lions, but we sell beef stew and bean soup, and it's good stuff. Some clubs put on bingo. Other clubs do pancake breakfasts, Swiss steak dinners, swap meets, auctions. You know, as I said, just about anything that we think, you know, will allow us to accumulate some funds so that we can do the good things that we try to do. The Youngstown Club that does the Christmas party, they get most of their money from a turtle derby. It's a one-day event. They make an incredible amount of money on that event. Although we're a service organization, you know, we do like to have fun. We try to keep our club meetings interesting and have, you know, interesting programs. This past weekend, we had a district social that attracted, oh, I don't know, about 130 or so Lions and spouses. It was a lot of fun. Some clubs have dances. Most clubs, I would say, will have a Christmas party for their members. Some clubs sponsor bus trips to, you know, go to a ball game or perhaps a casino. We just have a whole lot of fun together. I'm not going to talk too much about structure, but I will tell you a little bit. To start a club, we have to have a minimum of 20 members. So that's kind of a magic number that we're going to be looking for. All of the work of Lionism is done at the club level. That's where we raise the funds, that's where we do our service, and that's where each of us eventually becomes a Lion. And I mean that in terms that we really finally figure out what Lionism is about and you know, what being a volunteer is about. Some clubs meet weekly. Most clubs meet every other week. Some clubs meet once a month. There's a lot of flexibility. Each club decides what is the best fit for their membership. Some clubs have dinner meetings, some clubs don't. Some clubs meet at noon, some clubs meet in the evening. So again, lots of flexibility. We are organized by districts. Ohio has 10 districts. We are in District D, the yellow circled region there. Our district consists of Stark, Portage, Trumbull, Mahoning, and Columbiana counties. We have about, I think it's 53 clubs actually. I'm going to zip through this. This gives a layout of the clubs geographically, roughly geographically. Stark County appears in the lower left-hand corner.
You notice we have about 17 clubs. We have the second largest membership district-wise in the state in our small region.
With such a large organization, you know, in over 200 countries, it requires a lot of leadership, and the Lions Club's international office is in Chicago. Actually, it's a suburb of Chicago, but big surprise. Chicago is where the very first Lions Club was formed. There are 300 full-time employees, and they are quite busy every day. We also have a charitable arm. It's called Lions Clubs International Foundation, and they are the heavy lifters. They take on the big projects, ones that are too big, too expensive, for an individual club or even a district to take on. Right now, LCIF is involved in trying to eradicate measles. You say, what's the big deal? Well, in some parts of the world where they don't have medical services, measles claims the lives of over 400 kids a day. And it's hard to believe, but it's true. So we're distributing a vaccine. $1 equals 1 shot equals 1 life. Once a year we have an international convention. It takes place end of June, first week in July. This year it's going to be in Toronto. So it will be easy for a lot of us from this area to go to the convention. It is a huge amount of fun. It's very interesting. Lots of informative programs. They always have a big parade through the downtown area wherever they're at. Next year it's going to be in Honolulu, and I think the year after that in Japan. There is a monthly magazine that gets sent out to every Lion. It's published in 20 languages. Very interesting magazine. It keeps you acquainted with what other clubs are doing. Lots of interesting stories. Just recently, our own Nassau Lions Club was featured in the magazine because of the variety show that they do every year. So that was kind of a whirlwind tour of Lionism. I didn't hit every block that you see here, but I tried to give you a flavor for what we're about, who we are, how we do the things that we do, and I just hope that I was able to strike a chord. We need your support, and with it, I think we'll get this club off the ground. So, any questions?
As far as for, trying to mobilize interest and so forth, I mean, I know we collectively said during either a prior work session or even just public speaks that, we see the value of the group. Can you give us any insight as to, have there been any inquiries by residents on this and trying to help get it off the ground? Outside of that, are there things we can do within probably our limits to drive awareness?
Okay, currently, I'll bring you up to speed. I scheduled 4 different informational meetings for here. It was put on your website, it was in the local paper. The first night we had 3 individuals come. 2 are currently Lions in another area. They live in Plain Township, but they go to the Magnolia Club. And they're very interested in getting back home in a local club. So we would have a nucleus of some veteran Lions that could come into the club once it's formed. There is a gentleman that moved into the area that had been in clubs and president a couple different times, who would be a current, he could be a charter member, and he's very interested in getting back into Lions. So we have that little bit of nucleus that we could, help the people get started. We provide the training for the officers. We provide a 2-year program with a guiding Lion that stays with the club and helps them make sure they're on track, answering questions and so forth. Robin and I have had some conversations, and he had a couple of suggestions. Since people didn't come to us, we go to the people. So he's offered to let us come out to the Easter egg hunt and to the Safe Kids Day, pass out literature and try to recruit people. So, as I've mentioned to a few of you, being strangers in your community, we're not recognized, but perhaps you can give us leads or refer people to us, and then we could have an informational meeting similar to this for them to see and ask questions. So
Jim also went to the Plain Partnership meetings.
yes.
To introduce himself to like the school system and Stark State and Malone, those types of folks that are held at the high school once a month as well.
Let's make sure for the Easter egg hunting, got a note to make sure we that they're around and about.
No, we're gonna do a note, I have information we're gonna give and all the giveaways so that they make it home and parents can actually look at things and stuff like
Yeah, I
that.
provided Rob with just kind of a snapshot of some things and my name to contact. So, and they took some of my business cards, they're gonna talk to the repository people. The North News lady has put information out for me. Actually, Denise Evans has done things on Facebook for us. So we're starting. You have to remember, this is kind of a slow process. And we need to get some key people, and then they need to bring in the people because they're going to be the ones doing it. But you can offer your support.
That is the key, what he just said.
Right.
No pun intended, but we need a few key people.
In fact, we have one of the best training sessions in the state. We call it our spring conference, where the officers and anybody can go, and it's about a 6-hour program that we put on, and we have all kinds of seminars. We can teach people how to be presidents, secretaries, treasurers, and also I should mention that we have a LEO program, which is similar to what the KEY program is, and it can be in elementary schools or high schools, and it helps the kids learn leadership and development and volunteering. And we have 13 or 14 LEO clubs throughout our district. We're very fortunate. So we have people who come in and talk about LEO clubs. And as I was mentioning to Rob, we do the most eye screenings in the state. We do about 80% of the eye screenings in the state that's done. And that's 6,000 to 7,000 a year. Preschool, we can do adults. And remember, it's only a screening, but if we detect one child that needs help, and by checking, and if you get lazy eye, if you catch lazy eye before they're 8 years old, it's correctable. And we actually found a kid with cataract, believe it or not. So we have an ophthalmologist, or Dr. Lear's in our club, so clubs have business people. Yes, Rob?
We also spoke just briefly too about holding an eye screening event either at Township Hall or Diamond, or when time and space and availability allows, but it would be a community-driven event. It would be free, but they also would have access to plenty of citizens then as well.
Right, we can make
So
a
it'd
big
be mutually
announcement
beneficial.
about that, and, what we set up is, we do the preschool. This device costs $10,000, and in 15 seconds it can read both eyes and look for 7 abnormalities. And the schools cannot do that. So if we can catch them before school, we have a better chance. And we can do adults. We do glaucoma, we do peripheral, and what else? The eye chart. So we can do that. And we have all that equipment available. So, and we do help people with eye surgeries if they're in need, eyeglasses. We collect eyeglasses, send them all over the world. I have 30th Street Plaza Optical is collecting for us. You have a box here, and so forth. So I think we're getting a little start. So if you have any other questions, anytime, I think I've given you my card before and some literature, and we certainly appreciate you coming tonight and taking an interest, and hopefully, like Bob says, you have a little better insight now of what we're all about and what we can do. So.
You said something about advertising. You prevented from advertising. Is that specifically just for the?
It was just for that
fundraising?
festival I was talking about.
Okay. It's a community rule then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We've actually got some information to put in newsletters and stuff like that, just to make awareness. They've already been in one, I think, already. So we're doing everything we can to get the word out that these people are trying to organize. And I think where we failed, quite frankly, is we took the modern approach of the social media platform and the digital platform and the web platform. And I think what we found out, unfortunately, is that it's probably better to go back to grassroots with an organization like this so that they can kind of have a tangible experience to kind of cling to. Because simply information and saying we're here isn't seeming to produce the results we had, I think, hoped, right, Jim? I think we're looking down more of a grassroots effort. So any of the type of community events we have that they can be present at that would fit what they're looking to do, we're going to keep them informed on so that they can plant roots. I mean, from my perspective, as community outreach, I think if North Canton, Louisville, and Massillon, and Perry, and Jackson all have these clubs, we certainly have the ability to do it too, so Jim and I are gonna work consistently on it.
And if anybody would like to come to a meeting, I would be happy to take them as a guest to our meeting, or they could go to a North Canton meeting, which is close, they're open. They're actually would be the host for the new club. You need a host club to sponsor an incoming club, so.
What night are those meetings?
Pardon?
What night are those meetings?
Their meetings are tonight, same as your meetings, unfortunately, now that I think about it, yeah. Our meetings are the first and third Thursdays. Bob belongs to the Canal Fulton Lions Club. You can
I
go
am
to
the
the
same, I'm
Hartville.
going from here to my meetings.
But Uniontown, Marlboro, Hartville, Louisville, Paris, East Canton drop their clubs, but Alliance all around, you know, there's clubs close by. I'd be happy to go with you to one of their meetings. I mean, I'm well-known throughout the district. I've been a district officer for 15 of my 18 years in Lions, and
Well, Jim, maybe to wrap up, then that's a good point. Maybe you and I will meet, and then maybe on an off night where we're not booked with meetings.
right.
I'll go on behalf of Plain Township just to speak about our interest in helping develop this organization on behalf
Perfect.
of this entity if the board stipulates, and then maybe we can generate some leads from there.
Certainly welcome any ideas and thoughts. We can come out to any group, small group that you think would be interested. The church right down the road here, I forget the name of it, but the two people that go to the Magnolia Club, they've offered their church as a meeting place, and they could have any,
55th and Middle Branch or High Mill?
down on Easton, going toward town.
Just past the high school.
Off of Firestone?
If you go over the railroad tracks up the hill and then hang the right on fire.
I think that's the
Oh, there's
one.
another-
Or there's one just past the high school.
There's one right on Easton, right on Easton on the left, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's a map.
But
Congressional.
something, but they said, you know, their building would be available if they wanted to meet there, and a lot of people meet in churches. Some clubs have their building, but that's an albatross around your neck. You gotta have major income to operate a building, as you know. So most clubs just meet in a restaurant or a church or something like that, so.
Well, the township has facilities that we can accommodate.
Yeah.
And like Bob says, you can meet noon, evening. We have some clubs meet for breakfast on Saturday morning, so it's whatever the group will work the best for them. And like Rob and I were saying, I think with social media, a lot of people aren't going to be physically coming to meetings, but you can network and they can show up for the projects and things like that, so. Okay?
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. And,
Can't.
thank you.
Well, thanks.